Of course, great organizations such as Valencia Foundation are only successful through visionary, optimistic, and encouraging leadership. We are so very fortunate to have such leadership. As many of you know, she was honored earlier this year by the Central Florida chapter of the American Fundraising Professionals as its Fundraiser of the Year for her unselfish and endless work in supporting the mission of Valencia Community College. She truly believes in our students and what they can become. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me thank and welcome to the stage our President and CEO, Geraldine Gallagher.
Good evening and welcome. Thank you so much for coming to our celebration this evening. You will see the fingerprints of our Valencia students all over our gala tonight. They're seated at your tables. They participated in the video produced by Valencia Television, and they caroled and crooned as you walked in. And as Alan mentioned, they created the lovely chocolates that are seated at your tables with Chef Pierre. But perhaps more importantly, they were given the opportunity to succeed because dozens and dozens and dozens of people cared that they could succeed and made an investment in their future. I hope this evening you will take an opportunity to spend a few minutes getting to know a little bit about our students' stories. They are part of our Valencia experience. Another part of our Valencia experience is my board of directors, who you've met earlier this evening. They're good-hearted souls who govern the foundation and who take it upon themselves to raise significant sums of money to make sure that we can meet the needs of our students. They've already pledged to give 10% of our capital campaign, which is now in the quiet phase and will be announced in 2006. They work in partnership with the college's faculty and staff, many of whom are donors and who you'll see here tonight. Our faculty and staff make our student learning the center of their work, and in our classrooms, our students are in good hands. Tonight, we're here to celebrate and to say thank you. We have much to rejoice about. It, as Alan has mentioned to you, has been a very good year. And, you know, we say that every year, don't we? We say, ooh, it's been another good year. But I dare say this has been the best year of the foundation in our history, and that's because of you. If you'll indulge me, I'll share with you a few of our highlights. Last year, the foundation garnered $4.3 million in external funding, directed primarily for scholarships. We topped the $43 million mark in foundation net assets. And as many of you know, because you were there, we hosted our first major fundraiser ever, for which everything, including 6,000 bottles of wine, yes, 6,000 bottles of wine, and almost everything else you could possibly imagine was donated so that 100% of ticket sales went to scholarships. It will generate 468 new scholarships for students. Almost done with the numbers. We also provided last year $1.4 million in scholarships and learning support for Valencia. And we supported like-minded nonprofits with $90,000 in support from the foundation's operating budget, which most of you know, I think, does not come from your donations. It comes from lease revenue on property the foundation owns. And as always, 100% of every dollar you give to Valencia Foundation goes entirely to scholarships or to the use that you direct. We never take a single penny for overhead, administration, or any other expenses. So when you give $5,000 to Valencia for scholarships, $5,000 goes to scholarships. And plus, we apply for state match. So about 18 months after your gift, we receive a dollar-for-dollar match from the state. So your gift is leveraged even further to help more students. Now, these facts are all about the numbers. For fundraisers, it's a little bit of an occupational hazard, I think. But you know how Stephen Covey says, the main thing is to keep the main thing, the main thing. The main thing is keep the main thing, the main thing. Our main thing is making sure that college is accessible for students. That's why we're here, and that is our main thing. Now, behind those numbers, you'll find more numbers. But bear with me here for a second. We, last year, were able to serve some 1,200 deserving students who could not otherwise afford scholarships or could not otherwise afford college without the scholarships that you provided. Another 200 students who were ravaged by the Florida hurricanes received support to keep them in school. And 35 Katrina victims are now building new lives at Valencia thanks to your help. An additional 300 students received small emergency grants that allowed them to handle unexpected family crises that otherwise would have driven them out of school. And another 2,000 students, and this is interesting, 2,000 students who needed just a little bit of help. They needed $35 to begin an installment program that allowed them the entire semester to pay for their tuition without a finance charge during the semester. So all told, the foundation was able to serve some 3,700 students because of your generosity. In a few minutes, you'll hear from 3 of our students on the video, Edward, Kathy, and Gilbert. They are individuals who just needed someone to believe in them. On your table, you'll also find thank you notes from a few of our students. Like Edward, Kathy, and Gilbert, what we hear so often from our students is that when they receive a scholarship from Valencia, it's not only the first time that someone believed in them, but someone believed in them enough to invest in them. There's a quote that I like from Václav Havel, and he said, "Hope is a state of mind. It's not a state of the world." Hope in this deep and powerful sense is not joy that things are going well, or a willingness to invest in enterprise that you know is obviously heading for success. Hope instead is a willingness to work for something because it is good. That's it, simply because it is good. I'm blessed to have inherited leadership of a fine organization dedicated to hope through access to learning. Our Valencia students discover that they can be successful no matter how they start. No matter your background, your language, your family background, your country of origin, your previous experience in education, your thoughts about going to school in general. In the hands of Valencia's capable and caring professors, some 62,000 students a year learn that they absolutely do have what it takes to succeed, and they find Valencia their better place to start. And that's because Valencia is a place of hope. As we work toward the public announcement of our campaign in 2006, I will count on you to listen to the still small voice to discern what exactly your commitment might be to our investment in students. I wish you a blessed holiday season, and I thank you for believing in Valencia. Thank you for investing in our students' future, and thank you for being among those wonderful, hopeful human beings who do work that's important simply because it is good. It is now my great pleasure to introduce my boss, Dr. Sandy Sugart, President of Valencia Community College, my friend and my favorite servant leader. Sandy's going to assist me in recognizing some of the people who are most dear to us at Valencia Foundation, and then share with you some thoughts on our future.
Thanks.
Tonight we have the honor of recognizing several fine leaders who have made a meaningful difference for Valencia students. Now, I don't know how many of you may have seen this, but last week CNN reported that the #1 most looked up word online for the Merriam-Webster dictionary was, does anyone know? Very good. Integrity, yes. And I was not sure whether to be thrilled by the fact that that was top of mind for online web searchers or completely frightened that 200,000 people didn't know what it meant.
A lot of college presidents were looking that up.
But the individuals we're recognizing tonight do understand and exemplify integrity. They do things right, and they do the right things.
No great institution succeeds without great friends and partners. As I walked around the room tonight, I was really kind of breathtaken with the number of people here who are not just good partners to the college, but people that we love and who have loved our mission and our students and one another. And so I want to thank you all for being here and recognize that partnership is the beginning of a great institution. It's the middle of a great institution. And in the end, it's the end of a great institution. Thank you, our partners.
Our first honoree tonight is Jess Bales. Jess is the grandson of the founder of ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, and as a member of the foundation board, Jess agreed to serve as treasurer during our foundation reorganization, which I gotta tell you occurred during one of the diciest stock market times in the last few years. Today, Jess serves on the executive committee, and he's also the co-chair of our signature event. Jess dedicates his time and talent to make sure that our organization succeeds and our students have access to learning. He and the Bales family have been active donors to Valencia Foundation. His company commitment to Valencia has been extraordinary, from donating beverages to all of our events, to making sure that chairs were funded for faculty and staff, to dedicating almost his entire senior management team to help us pull off a taste for learning. That company, ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, is clearly a family, and their employees are encouraged to give of themselves and to serve the community. So it's no surprise that the Association of Fundraising Professionals last month named ABC Fine Wine and Spirits their Philanthropic Corporation of the Year. Tonight we recognize Jess, the Bales family, and his other family, ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, for their commitment to Valencia as our 2005 corporate partner. Hi, honey.
Dear. Oh.
We normally shy away from anything that has a political overtone or involves political people here. I'm very involved in it elsewhere, but this is a special year for us. Valencia received in the past year its first earmark, it's called, that is special dispensation from Congress for substantial funds in its history, and that was received in order to underwrite the completion of our nursing program's online version. That is to create great access for nursing education in this community. In that same year, we had tremendous success with regard to the most heavily used financial aid program at Valencia and at all community colleges, all 1,200 across America, because we had a champion on the House Education and Labor Committee who made it his business to stay on the Pell Grant program every day of his career in Congress. His name is Rick Keller. Congressman Rick Keller, himself from a modest background, who understood the fundamental truth of community colleges, and that is that opportunity works. He was given an opportunity through the federal financial aid system as a young man in a single-parent home, and he continues as a congressman to make that opportunity available to millions of students across the country. And I had the opportunity this year to do two pieces of work with him. One is to ask him to continue to champion the Pell Grant program. And then, following our series of storms last year, which had a devastating effect on certain students, that is, those who were drawing Pell Grant and other Title IV federal financial aid in order to come to Valencia. That's about $28 million, by the way, of our little over $100 million operating budget, are students who are paying their tuition through federal financial aid. They found themselves in a position of having to go to work or without money and major repairs to make to homes, cars, and so on, and caught in a kind of a catch-22 in the rules of the Pell Grant system, which say if you don't complete 60% of a course, you have to pay that grant back. And if you do not only can you not get additional financial aid, but you cannot be enrolled in another institution. So we had hundreds of students who were caught in that crack, without a job, with major damage to their homes, perhaps without a car, and unable to go to school, and now owing the federal government thousands of dollars and unable to continue their educations. We approached Congressman Keller and the Secretary of Education and the President and the Governor and everybody we could to get them out of that situation. And Congressman Keller is the only one who stepped up to this issue, honestly. He was the only one perhaps in a position to. He couldn't write a bill that worked retroactively for us, but when Katrina hit early this year, we called him back and said, now's your chance. And he wrote a bill and passed it in record time. It was passed in the House, sponsored by Mel Martinez, to give the Secretary of Education the authority to waive that requirement in federal financial aid so that thousands of students in Louisiana and Mississippi now aren't caught in the situation that we were. It was an amazing piece of legislative handiwork, but it also showed that he had the courage of his convictions. So tonight we want to thank and honor our U.S. Congressman Rick Keller. Rick is going to join us by videotape. You see, he's on a rare family vacation in New York City this week, and so roll the video.
Hi, this is Congressman Rick Keller. I expected to spend tonight with a group of folks who were known for being warm and friendly in a nice warm environment, but instead I find myself in New York City tonight. I'm very sorry I couldn't be there. I am a big fan of the good work done by the Valencia Foundation, particularly in helping provide scholarships to low-income students. We have a shared vision. As chairman of the Congressional Pell Grant Caucus, I've led the fight in Congress to help increase Pell Grants by 74%, so that all children, rich or poor, in this community get to go to college. My proudest achievement in Congress has been the close working relationship I've had with Dr. Sandy Shugart. He came to me with an idea to help those students who have been impacted by hurricanes, and so I drafted the Pell Grant Hurricane and Natural Disaster Relief Act. After Hurricane Katrina hit, it was one of the first pieces of hurricane relief legislation that became law, and your school played a key part in it. Thanks again for all the great work you do, and next year, hopefully I'll be there in person to meet each one of you and thank you in person about a wonderful thing that you've been doing, particularly helping these low-income kids. Thanks a lot.
I believe Rick's aide, Josh Bailey, was planning to be here tonight. As Josh has made it, we'd like to present you with the award. Josh, are you here? You'll have to scream if you are, because there's no way I'll see you in these lights. Well, I'll get it to Josh then. Thank you very much.
Larry Slocum is a Valencia Community College trustee, vice chairman of their trustee board, and he served for 14 years on the foundation board of directors. He's very tired. Larry has been actively involved in bringing this foundation to where we are today. He serves simultaneously on the Executive Committee, the Finance Committee, the Nominating Committee, and the Board Development Committee. One year, I estimated that Larry had attended no fewer than 50 Valencia Foundation meetings, and they were important meetings when we were doing important reorganizational work, and yet he still came back the next year. Larry has dedicated hundreds, obviously, of hours to make sure that our foundation is the place of integrity that serves students in the absolute best way we can. Larry is a natural leader, he's a stickler for details, and he is a force that financial investment advisors both respect and fear. Larry and his wife, Gail, are major donors to the foundation and advocates in the community for Valencia Community College. Tonight, in honor of his long and wonderful service, we name Larry Slocum, Director Emeritus of Valencia Foundation. Even if tired, must come get award.
There it is. Bring it up. Bring it up. That's it.
You deserve it more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Photograph? Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Larry continues to serve as a member of the Board of Trustees and the Vice Chairman of the Board for Valencia as well. It's my pleasure to honor someone many of you wouldn't have met because his role has been deep in the background of the foundation, but he spent the last decade assuring access for hundreds of students through service to the Valencia Foundation. John Stillwell II is a man I've come to know and respect these past 6 years as I've served Valencia. He brings to us skill and acumen in the investment world, finance world, which was his career as a certified financial planner and a certified life underwriter. But upon his retirement, John made charitable giving and volunteer work and providing access to college his life's priorities. In addition to serving as a foundation director, John's been active on the finance, board development, retreat, and nominating committees of the foundation board, and he continues to be an articulate and enthusiastic advocate of Valencia. He keeps our board in line, and he is tireless in his efforts. John's been a major supporter of Valencia, both personally and through his role as the administrator of the Lois Holt Foundation, where he provides scholarships for dozens of students each year throughout Florida and gifts to support the work for local nonprofit organizations. I know John as a man of deep courage, honor, and integrity, and I think the world of him. It's my great pleasure, personal pleasure, to recognize John Stillwell's extraordinary contributions to our community and to Valencia with our Legacy of Service Award. John. It's just possible that the next 3 awards will be a mild surprise to the people receiving them. They weren't told until tonight. I think words leaked out to a couple of them, maybe even on the screen. But it's still our intention that they gasp, cry, stumble, all those charming things.
Raymer McGuire III joined Valencia Foundation's board in 1987, continuing a legacy of family service, a commitment of paying civic rent that is a McGuire tradition and a gift to our community. Raymer has served in countless foundation role positions, including as foundation board chairman. And whenever he is asked to take on yet another challenging role, Raymer always says yes. And he has a steadfast ability to get things done and to get them done well. Most recently, Raymer has agreed to serve as the leader of our capital campaign team for our board of directors. He is shepherding 5 other board leaders who then each shepherd 8 other board leaders, if you can follow the pyramid scheme there. As you might imagine, it's a bit like herding cats. Raymer and his wife, Dean, are significant donors and supporters of Valencia Foundation. They've opened their homes and heart to us. And along with Raymer's dad, Raymer McGuire Jr., who helped start Valencia Community College, as most of you all know, and Raymer's mom, Skippy, who I believe was going to join us here tonight. Is she here, Raymer? Yeah. Okay. Raymer's family have been lifelong supporters of Valencia Community College, and I credit Raymer of being one of the small group of individuals who hired me on the board 5 years ago and took that leap of faith. I thank him for his friendship, his counsel, and for his amazing ability to make people do things, do the right things, do them quickly, and get them done. It's a gift. Tonight, I have the pleasure of honoring my friend, Raymer McGuire III, as 2005 Foundation Board Member of the Year. He's just resigned from that position because I did this. Thank you.
These are all people we love and admire, but no one more than Patty Riva. Patty is a member of the staff of Valencia Community College. She is the evening and weekend manager of our lovely and charming Winter Park campus. With about 14 staff, that's a round of applause there. Let's hear it from the Winter Park staff. That's right. It's a modest little campus, but let me remind you, it serves more students every day than Rollins College. Since 2001, Patty undertook a special responsibility, leading the Valencia chapter of the American Association of Women in Community Colleges. She created the AAWCC Scholarship Endowment for Students, reaching full endowment in our foundation during her presidency, and she's begun fundraising to endow a scholarship for AAWCC members working toward an advanced degree. So both students and staff members are beneficiaries of her efforts. Patty marshaled the forces of AAWCC to create targeted Valencia fundraising events that would encourage giving and to provide additional opportunities for students who might not otherwise be able to afford college. What's more, Patty worked with the Junior League to establish a partnership that allows Valencia students to select beautiful, high-value business attire from the Junior League's Bargain Box, a retail site, and provides them with outfits to wear for interviews to work. Many of our young students in transition benefit greatly from that help. There are many, many other ways that Patty, a true servant leader, makes a difference in the lives of all the people around her. She's generous, she's selfless, she gives to everyone around her. She's one of those people who in every circle she walks is a blessing to everyone she meets. And tonight we honor Patty Riva.
Okay, this one is great fun for me. Our foundation board is so incredible and works so hard that it was impossible to have just one board member of the year this year. Helen von Doltern-Fournier serves as finance chair. Helen was instrumental in reorganizing the investment strategies of the foundation, and it resulted in an endowment that has almost tripled in the past 5 years. Helen is an attorney and a certified financial planner, and she works closely with our controller to ensure that year after year we have a perfect audit without exception. Helen inspires philanthropy by modeling her generosity. After volunteering with displaced homemakers at Valencia, Helen joined the Valencia Foundation Board in 1996. 5 years ago, think about the timing there, she took over the Finance Committee. In 2008, Helen assumes chairmanship of the Valencia Foundation Board. Too late now to back out. It will come as no surprise that Helen has a long history of giving to Valencia. She created a sculpture garden on our East Campus to honor her mother and her mother-in-law, and she single-handedly spearheaded more than $50,000 in gifts to name the Valencia East Campus Gallery after a fine professor and a good friend of Helen's, Anita Wooten. And I could go on and on. She has endowed several scholarships, and this year, to celebrate the graduation of herself from law school, she created the Legal Eagle Scholarship. I am pleased and proud to present this award to my friend Helen von Doltern-Fournier, who is not just a friend, but a partner in philanthropy, and crime probably too. Please join me in honoring all of tonight's very, very deserving honorees.